All right. Let's go. We got REYNOR in the top left side of the map. We've got MAXPAX in the bottom right side. It's going to be MAXPAX with a no scout build. Did he go gas first, I wonder? Normally MAXPAX just goes gate, even when he doesn't scout. I'm not sure from the gas count, but it does kind of look like that. Either way, still a good build. REYNOR, of course, has gone for a 15-15, making sure his hatchery doesn't get blocked. But if he knew that there was going to be no scout, he would have preferred the 16 hatchery. We got the classic question. Is it normal for them to keep taking the gas and cancelling it like that? If we could get a link in the Twitch chat, !1515. Now, I know a lot of people, if you guys are watching this on YouTube after the fact and you want to learn more about the build order REYNOR's done, if you just search Pig1515 SC2 and just the number 1515, put a space between them, it should work fine. I got a few videos. Eric came up with this build, and Cyril basically took it and ran with it, and Cyril has dominated this year for the most part. He hasn't won every tournament, don't get me wrong. He's lost a few times, but he's also looked unstoppable aside from those couple of losses. And a big part of it has been utilizing the variety that this build order offers him. A couple of advantages, just to summarize it before we talk about the adept harassment, is it allows you to get your hatchery and pool up a little bit faster than normal. So you have your injects hitting very early in the game. Which also keeps you safer. So against Terran, you know, the Queen defends the Reaper. You don't even need to build Zerglings because the Queens are out so fast. The Reaper only gets to damage a drone, maybe force a single Spore Trick, and then your Queens is shooing it away. You're much safer versus a lot of cheeses. In ZVZ, 12 pool is useless versus you because your Queens and Lings are out so early. It's a very safe opening. It also gets the hatchery down so much earlier, about 37 seconds, which means they can't block it unless they send a probe across at the very start of the game. So you kind of end up in this it's good versus Protoss because you stop the block. It's good versus Zerg because you're safe versus all in. It's good versus Terran because the Queens defend the Reaper. However, you do have a bit less mining, right? Because you are, you know, building your hatchery on 15, your spawning pool on 15, both of those before building an Overlord. And it does mean you can't afford everything. So normally with like a hatch gas pool, you'll go third base and Ling speed and a third Queen. Often with these builds, you'll delay something. Now, REYNOR's kind of trying to balance everything and go for a decently timed Ling speed that's not too late, as well as everything else. Oh, that Overlord surviving this long is quite nice. He's not building any more units right now. He actually assumed that was dead. He might have been able to get that to safety if he was watching that whole time. He could have actually gotten to safety, I think. But he was like, oh, what? You're still alive? It ends up evening out in this scenario. Ling speed kicks in before there's any serious adept pressure. There are 6 Queens out now, 7. Evo chambers there as well. REYNOR has been, you know, it's not the craziest fastest on his droning, but he's done a great job of not taking direct damage and being very well prepared. Oh, Oracle's fighting the Queen. That's a brave move, and it pays off. MAXPAX gets a Queen kill. 1 Queen, 1 Overlord so far in the kill column, but 2 of his Oracles are already heavily damaged. Of course, MAXPAX has gone Twilight into 2 more gateways. That's interesting. No Forge. Normally it's Twilight and Forge. There we go. Forge comes down just a second later. And we've got 3 adept pressure on the left watchtower. 3 Oracles are on the map. +1 melee started for REYNOR as he starts to drone and get up that work account. 52 drones against 49 probes. Very common to be neck and neck in this stage of the game with the Protoss player. Zerg and Protoss is an economic arms race. We are both trying to harass each other. Well, in this case, REYNOR's been very defensive. You're also trying to, of course, outstrip their economy, which is the whole purpose of that. Evo chamber block to make sure those adepts can't do anything, and that is a cleanup on those 2 adepts. The Oracle went in the main at the same time. Adepts are dead. Perfect defense by REYNOR. Oh, even intercepts that Oracle. Guys, all 3 Oracles. Look at that. They're damaged heavily. REYNOR can now go up to 64 workers. 4th hatchery. Baneling Nest on the way. Les almost done. This man's going to go straight Hydra Bane. Robo does start right now for MAXPAX. MAXPAX isn't too far behind on the workers. But it feels like he's just not got any momentum. REYNOR's handled his defense just about perfectly. MAXPAX perhaps going to be going in game 2 with a double adept pressure. That's what I'd do. After this early game, this doesn't feel good. I'd be trying to throw REYNOR off his early game by chronoing a few adepts across the map. Pylon coming down. A little bit of a supply block here for MAXPAX. Blink and +1 are on the way. He starts his own 4th at 6 minutes. I mean, it's a very early 4th base. And funnily enough, guys, it is a Roach Horn at 6 minutes and 10 seconds and an Infestation Pit just a second later. Wow. This is a bit of a weird building placement because it walls off his mineral line from ramp side. Can make it a little bit weird. Not sure if that's on purpose or not. So it's just going to be Ravagerling Bane, Reynor's favorite composition. I guess I keep thinking he's going to go Hydra Baneling, but he's just being greedy and delaying his Roach Warren until later. Saying, yeah, I just need Zerglings to deal with Stalkers. I don't need anything else. If MAXPAX had surprised him with Zealots, he could be in a lot of trouble because, yeah, Reynor didn't really scout. I mean, he saw the 4th and he saw Stalkers. So I guess he saw enough tells that it is a Ling Bane focus. Now, this Baneling run by on the left is great. He's forgotten to make Baneling speed, though. So the idea is your Banelings should run to the right. Try to cut off those Zerglings from retreating. And normally you want to send them in, where rather than just clicking the whole key in, you want to send the Banelings in and the Zerglings kind of following the Banelings is what I like to do. Just to make sure you don't give your opponent extra warning of what you're up to. Hive and second Evo Chamber on the way. Good spready. A few Zerglings set off a stasis trap. Oh, Ling's coming in. As I said, you got to cut off the retreat by going to the right. Oh, he didn't set off the Banelings. Okay, he does still get 11 probes. That is quite successful. Could have been maybe a little more, though, if those Banelings, like I said, had gone straight to the right side. Carapace is on the way. Baneling speed finally starting. Roach speed as well. The Carapace has become very common recently. People trying to make their Ultras tanky. Ultras have become a mainstay in Zerg vs Protoss against these Oracle Blink styles because the Robotech is so late and it's often only a single Robo. If it's double Robo, and especially if they're already building Immortals, the Ultras aren't very attractive. But against Stalker Colossus, those units are not very good against Ultralisks, so we'll see how quickly Reynor goes for that. Adrenal Glands is probably his first order of business. He doesn't have unlimited money. It might just be Vipers and Adrenal to start, and Ultras a bit later. Oh, he does trap a Stalker. Remember, 7 Zerglings per Stalker is a good trade for Reynor. Units lost time, 500 resources in favor of MAXPAX. MAXPAX army, though, just doesn't have any depth to it right now. If he keeps warping in Stalkers, he's all in. I don't like Mass Stalker Colossus. I think it's a trash tier army unless you've got momentum and you're using it to constantly pressure the Zerg. Reynor is building 9 drones right now. He's building a ton of Spine Crawlers to be ready for Zealot run bys. He's playing very chilled out here, which is weird because I feel like if MAXPAX starts adding Archons here and a second Robo of Immortals, he could definitely cause massive problems for Mr. Reynor. Reynor's going for a big Ling move on the right side of the map. Losing Stalkers on these towers kind of sucks. You don't really want to be losing too many of these. Prism in the main is going to go for a big Zealot warp in charge, and +1 is done. Double Forge is upgrading. +2 melee finished for the Zerg. Okay, looks like the Zealots are going to just fight these Zerglings in the main base. Zerglings with +2, Zealots with +1. 4 Zealots get saved. MAXPAX. He's on 18 Stalkers, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, I want to see a Templar Archives and a second Robo. Otherwise, he's just kind of making crap units. Like, Zealots and Stalkers don't scale well here. Oh, MAXPAX! He left the Prism on hold position! Nice abduct for Reynor. I mean, it would have died from a second abduct either way. So it's not like it was a huge mistake for him. But he's still making just Stalker Zealot, guys. I don't think this goes well for MAXPAX. I don't actually know the result for this game, guys. I've kept myself spoiler-free, but I don't know how you're ever going to beat this army with Zealot Stalker. Like, Banelings are fine. If you build Archon Immortal, Reynor really needs to get good spells off. But as it is, I'm like, it's just Stalkers, man. Colossus are good versus the Lings. It's good micro. Don't get me wrong, MAXPAX, he took a decent little trade there. He's doing a good job of, like, poking and prodding and trying to find good fights, but there we go. Finally, Storm comes in. He's going for 11 gateways. Still only on 1 Robo, though. There's no meat to this army. There's no Immortals. There's no Archons. He's got a bunch of High Templar, 5 High Templar that are going to start gathering Storm energy. Archon's going to start coming in. Zealots in the top right go down to the Banelings. Second Robo has finally started. But 10.5 minutes in, it's very late. That being said, how do you make a play as Reynor? Reynor seems to just be chilling. And the longer the game goes, the more antsy he's going to get. So how does Reynor break him is the question. If he could break the wall on the 3rd base off on the left side of the map, that would be great for opening up a new angle. Parasitic Bomb on the Oracle, but it'll just heal at the shield battery, so that really doesn't achieve anything. This is the wall I was talking about. There's a massive gateway wall with a cannon. A lot of Ling Bane on the right coming in. And funnily enough, that probe will be able to take that base if he doesn't click on it. Zerglings having to pull back. They clean up a few Zealots, +2 Adrenal Zerglings. Looking all right. 2-1 upgrades on both sides, +3-2 coming in. It's almost identical for both players. I guess melee is a bit ahead of attack for Protoss, but Fifth base now starting for MAXPAX. They're looking for the other guy to make mistakes. MAXPAX army, as he adds a Mortal Archon, there is such a big power spike for this army now. And all those problems I had with the Stalker Zealot comp, you can see it's just a few Zealots mixed in, a few Stalkers for flexibility and potentially sniping Vipers, lots of Psystorm, lots of other good things. Banelings on the left. Oh, but they run in, they find, yeah, REYNOR finds out about the wall and is like, yeah, I'm not going to waste all these Banelings blowing up a wall. The probes will just run away. Ooh, if you can land a Storm on that right as that finishes and have some Stalker Colossus around, that could be really slick. That probe just got cartwheeled by the Baneling Acid. So in the top right goes down. Stalker's trying to take down the Queens, unable. Spires on the way right now. Second and third Stargate and a Fleet Beacon building as we speak. +1 air weapons is underway. Oh, Baneling's rolling into Stalkers. Heck yeah. High Templar does go down there. More cannons building, more batteries. MAXPAX, I don't know what you call this high ground here, but right now it's a thorn in REYNOR's side because it just makes him a bit more uncomfortable. I would have liked to see REYNOR take the rocks down a bit earlier. He's still got 14 roaches in his army. I think he's going to have to go neural. I always look at Zerg in this scenario and I think, look, if you're not happy to play late game, and you clearly aren't with how late this Spire is, you're not going Broods yet, I think MAXPAX is winning. In my understanding of the matchup he is. Why do I say this with so much doubt in my voice? Because he's playing REYNOR. REYNOR makes silly comebacks all the time. Like, REYNOR is... Him and Dark are very good at turning what looks like an awkward position for Zerg, where it's like, oh, your tech's kind of at a dead end. This army's not really getting any better. And then they'll just, like, win with some good spells, a good ambush, something like that. But right now, MAXPAX does seem to have an advantage. The earlier points in the game where his army comp was not that good have been mostly rectified. He's only got 3 Immortals. That's the big thing we'd be critical of. Carrier's trying to build right now. Oh, REYNOR abducts the Immortal and he says, tell your friends. But no, he does end up going back in and finishing it off. Oh, nice feedbacks. 2 probes go down on the left side. Only 2. The cannons there blocking a mass Baneling move out. Really well done. Overseer chilling in the main. Triple carrier's being spotted. +2 air weapons is started. Great Aspire only now beginning for REYNOR. REYNOR needs to get something done. He's transfusing those Ultras. He's putting some Band-Aids on them. I don't think Stasis Traps work on Ultralisks, right, guys? Because they have Frenzied. Frenzied means you're immune to Snare, Stun, Mind Control, and movement-altering effects. I guess we'd call... I don't know what you'd call Stasis. Snare? Stalker's going to try and blink back. A single Ling and a Roach getting Stasis trapped. The Immortal count's too low. 4 Colossus are not good anymore. There's not much for them to kill. You've got Archons and Storm. This is actually the point in the game where MAXPAX needs to kill his own Colossus. The 8 Stalkers are also nearly worthless. I guess you can poke with them. They do add a nice kind of creep clearing squad. Having a few Stalkers is probably not a bad idea. Oh. Gonna try and focus a pylon down. Battery overcharge is like, nah, bro. Nah, bro. They're like, we'll get 1 pylon. Come on. But too many roaches have died, so they lost the damage output. Can they get 1 Stalker? 1 Stalker and a battery overcharge for 10 roaches. But he needed to get rid of these roaches, did REYNOR. Both sides need to work on that army composition. We've got a Mothership, terrible fighting unit for its supply cost. Carriers, they're okay, but they're not really going to deal with the ground army that well. It's good to have them in the mix anyway to complicate things for the Zerg. A few Zealots ready for a run by. 3 Oracles as 9 supply as well. That's what I'm talking about in terms of there being like a lot of supply that's not in great fighting units, especially with 81 probes. MAXPAX is actually up in the work account. I think it's okay to play this way as long as you just don't move away from your cannon battery. And he should, like, even here, I want to see like 8 more cannons, 10 more cannons to defend this middle area, rebuild the gas, that sort of thing. Just because I feel like the way you win this game as MAXPAX is chilling and turtling and waiting and saying, I'm better in late game, which remains to be seen. Oh, my lord. Automod is not enjoying Mathman's comments in the chat. If there's any mods around, I think we can allow those. I glanced at my Twitch chat. Mathman's tried 3 different ways of saying, he said arse, and the auto mod was like banning, like blocking the comment until a mod basically confirmed. The AI is like, I think he might be insulting someone. That's the way the auto mod works in Twitch chat. And then so then he changed it. He said the same message, but he changed it to booty. And they're just like, the auto mod's like, I still think he's trying to insult someone. This guy's saying some naughty words, I think. It's always funny when someone's like, okay, auto mod's not letting this. Okay, does it let booty through? And it's like, this guy's trying to get around the auto mod, you know? The AI is kind of smart and also kind of stupid when it comes to auto moderation. People sometimes ask me why I leave it on, and the reason is, otherwise you will get people just coming in and doing creative spamming of N words and whatever other naughty words they can say just to be douchebags. So it has some negative side effects, of course. There are people that get caught in the crossfire, but I often don't have mods online and I'm in the middle of a cast, and I don't like looking back at chat and seeing giant ASCII pictures of genitalia and racist or homophobic words filling the entire screen, which it doesn't happen very often, thankfully, on my channel. I think the people usually send those bots to the most popular streamers in the world, thankfully. Oh, Vipers? He abducts a Colossus. Corruptors almost get it. I don't actually think killing the Colossus... I think killing the Colossus helps MAXPAX, personally. That being said, the Colossus are very good at killing broodlings, so the advantage of keeping them alive is great. Oh, the High Templar! High Templar! Barely gets back, but the Archon does get surrounded by the broodlings, and it does fall. Right side base goes down. Mama goes in the main. No, there's no way he's going to commit to that. Mama goes down. Zealots in the top right. Reynor in the multitasking, winning the multitasking war. That's what I'm talking about. Reynor's army probably doesn't beat MAXPAX's army. He has 7 Corruptors to beat 4 carriers, which is like not really enough. But he killed a base. Yeah, he loses a hatchery of his own, but he also killed a mothership. He's ahead 2,000 resources. Yeah, Reynor's like basically saying, look, if I keep denying bases and using a bit of multi-prong, it's kind of hard for MAXPAX to expand. And that might push MAXPAX to just get impatient, shove on creep, and let me take that perfect engage. Problem? I still don't think he's ready for that perfect engagement, even if MAXPAX hands it to him. An Ultralist does get taken out, so does a Ravager. Corruptors take out one of these Oracles. Oh, Broodlords. Oh god, MAXPAX in the open. MAXPAX in the open. Oh god, he's gone too deep. MAXPAX, he went too deep there, man. Oh no. Oh, he's getting wrecked. Good recall choice, but man, he's losing so many units. The Oracles are both going to go down as well. This is Reynor. When I say he's not a late game guy, I guess what I mean is he's not a perfect end game player. He's not going to play Broodlord, Infestor, Viper, Sporecrawler, as well as Serral. There's no question about it. But you give him a little bit of movement, the ability to flow around the map. Hey, I'm counterattacking here. Hey, I'm counterattacking here. I'm counterattacking over there. Look, oh, there's a backstab. There's a run by. I got Lings in your base. Oh, I'm going to jump on this unit. I'm going to jump on that unit. If you give him the ability to roll in, he will take advantage because he is a movement master tactically. He is such a beast. You let Reynor do run-bys, and he will show you his pedigree as a player. He denies the right side base while rolling Banelings in the left, killing 31 probes. MAXPAX has a giant bank. He has the ability to get back in this game economically, but he's not going to rebuild probes. He's basically saying, screw that. I'm just going to make more carriers right now. He's 8 carriers. Now he swaps to Void Rays, which I think is probably a good idea, but you've got to be very good on your spreading to make that work. And Reynor's even pushing with Spores because he's getting so much confidence right now, winning all these fights. MAXPAX is maxing out. Now he's going to have a much bigger army. This is where Reynor could be in trouble with only 1 Infestor, 2 Vipers. The Zerglings in his army are not going to achieve much. The Ultras are going to do pretty well if they can get on top of the High Templar, but there's a lot of Archon. There's still 2 Colossi as well to help kill the Broodlings. So the Broodlings are dying pretty much instantly when they land. Only +1 Plasma Shield so far, though. But he does have +3 air weapons, which is important. Much better upgrades than the Corruptors. But as I say, that 2-2 kicks in. So 2-2, probably better than +3 attack overall. Cannon's getting cleared up on both sides. MAXPAX is going to go for an all-in, but look, he gets a carrier abducted. Nicely done there. Reynor looking fantastic. He's going to have to go outground. He's making this as messy as possible. Zergling in the bottom left will block, start picking off those probes. That's a 3-3 Zergling, guys. We're going to try and keep that selected. Spores getting broken on that side. Probes getting taken down on the right. The Broodlords are still there. Without the Broodlords, he can't take this fight unless he can kill the High Templar with the Ultras. He even transfuses the Ultras there. They take out an Archon and another transfuse. Man, that's a lot of carriers, but remember, carriers only do 8 damage. Ultras have 7 armor. It takes a ton of shots to get that damage off. Broodlords are on the way home. There's a Void Ray chasing them. Uh-oh. That Void Ray is going to take out a Broodlord, by the way, guys. The Zergling in the bottom left got 5 probe kills. Just checking in on that. Ultras pop out behind the High Templar, but they can't quite kill him. Broodlords take him out, though. The Broodlords get all the High Templar. Nice Broodlord Ultra ambush. Carrier Void Ray thinking about engaging. There's a lot of spores here. There is not many Broodlords. Oh, spreads against the Parasitic Bomb. Very mature micro from MAXPAX. Does he just focus the Broods down? That's what I would do here. But he's just going to fight, and the Archons don't seem to be doing much. They were all derping around the cliff face. Oh, this is a terrible fight for MAXPAX. That was the worst possible place he could fight, the best where REYNOR could fight. And damn, the Archons really did nothing but fight Broodlings in the back. They did not help against the Corruptors. The Broodlords, there was only 6 of them at the start of the fight. MAXPAX needed to just shift-click the Broodlords with his carriers at the start of that fight. And then there was nothing to kill his Archons. But unfortunately, he focused on the wrong thing, and a beautiful engagement there as MAXPAX has to tap out. I want to show you guys the start of the fight, and I'm not just showing you to explain, I'm showing you to double-check. Sometimes people get a bit crazy in the comments when I do this. They're like, because I'll be like, okay, and he does this to do this, and then I'll like change in the middle, because I'll be like, oh, actually, this happens. There'll be a lot of people who comment, and they're like, you said this, but actually, this thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I said in the following sentence. I corrected myself. But if I don't particularly, I think sometimes if I don't explicitly say, oh no, I was incorrect. Actually, this other thing, now that I see so-and-so. I guess sometimes I just need to slow down on my analysis to make sure it's a bit clearer. But yeah, the High Templar going down means this is very scary. But he's up 50 army supply, guys. Do you know how quickly and he's got 5 Archons still, which will wreck the Corruptors. His army should probably be moved. There's 2 things he can do. Either shift-click the Broodlords and just dive and just shove on it with everything, or run to the north. Because right now, he's on this bit of terrain where Archons can't move. So the Archons are all kind of stuck behind each other up here, and the Corruptors are just going to move left, because the Archons can't move over this area, can they? And you're going to see MAXPAX hesitate, and I said very mature micro. But it was actually very bad micro. It'd be very mature just spreading versus the Parasitic Bomb if you were pulling away. But he pulls back to the ledge. He needs to pull north into the open. Because right now, all he's doing is hugging this ledge, which is already the Broodlord's best friend. Now, he's in range of those Broodlords right now. All he needs to do is attack them, shift-click them down, and I do think he has this game in the bag. We've got Ultras and Corruptors building, but they're not out yet. This army is definitely bigger for Protoss. He's got Void Rays trying to rally in as well. But instead, it looks like he just kind of A-moves here. And notice, what are the Archons doing? They're all just fighting Broodlings. None of them is fighting the Corruptors. They're all derping out around here on the ledge, and then just shooting whatever Broodling is nearby. So this was a very poor fight for MAXPAX, and an excellent engagement for REYNOR. GG, well played in Game 1. Alright, guys. Game 2 here for MAXPAX. Kind of weird. I thought MAXPAX would be the patient god of the late game. It's like he just got picked apart. REYNOR does this thing where he starts just throwing Banelings into bases, and then Ultras smash another base, and I feel like it kind of breaks the Protoss's brain a little bit. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Let me know, in the comments if you disagree or agree. But I feel like what happens is Protoss kind of just needs to chill, get the 5th base up, cement the position with cannons and batteries. REYNOR's going to throw away a lot of Banelings and Ultras trying to break those positions. And you might need to split your army up to defend. Right? Leave a few Archons on the left, most of your army on the right. But I feel like most of the time, he basically breaks the base one time. The Protoss gets their whole army out of position because they're afraid of getting their army caught. And then they just kind of panic and basically, oh, I can't retake the base. And they always just grab their army and go for a counterattack. And I feel like if they were just had that 5th base, they'd feel more confident to be more careful with their engagements. But it's like he just makes them see red. And they're like, I gotta go, I gotta go. And they always end up headbutting into these awful engagements. Like, how many times have we seen Showtime miles ahead of REYNOR, and then REYNOR does some nice cute counterattacks, and then just gets an amazing engagement that turns the whole game around. Because Showtime, like, grabs his army and just tries to shove. And it's like, it becomes, it's not about pushing is a bad thing. It's pushing in a disorganized way with zero caution. Gives REYNOR the opportunities to make these fights. And that's exactly what happened in the last one. So I don't actually see as many REYNOR MAXPAX games as I see REYNOR Showtime. I feel like REYNOR Showtime have had so many epic series over the last year. And it's kind of sad for Showtime, because Showtime, for a long time, was the only Protoss that could almost beat Cyril in late game, and he could always take maps off him. He just could never win a series. And it kind of feels like now Reynor's got the same thing, where like Showtime always has a really close series, always looks really good against him, and always just barely loses, especially if it's a best of 5. Oh! 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 Sorry, guys. The dumb noises aside, that's triple Stargate. What in the heck? Single Void Ray and a triple Star. I would assume Phoenix. Could be Oracle. Triple Stargate Oracle is something we never see anymore, but it would be pretty funny. Not just going to be Phoenix. Usually you want to go a reasonably quick +1 air weapons with this. Evo chambers on the way. 47 drones. Roach Horn goes down. 45 probes for MAXPAX. Just 2 adepts on that third. He's playing a very turtly style. So MAXPAX is basically saying, hey guys, I'm not going to play the normal PvZ. I'm just going to do a bit of a meme build. We're going to go Phoenix. Question, do you go carriers after the Phoenix? Because I feel like once you go 3 Stargate, you're pretty committed. Does he go Twilight Forge after and try to swap back into ground? Or do we just drop a fleet beacon and just be like, nah, we're 100% committed? If so, he should start air weapons soon. I think the reason he's not doing that is he knows a Zergling will scout the air weapons and then the Phoenix will know. Like, so I think it's only as the Phoenix move out that he'll start +1. Adepts gonna get surrounded. Very nice cleanup for Reynor, who can now counterattack that third. Shield battery goes down. Gonna need to make sure his units are well positioned. An extra adept does warp in right there, but it's wide out in the open. Adepts stepping forward to guard the mineral rally. Stalker warping into the choke point as well. Phoenix moving out right now. 5 Phoenix moving across the map. There are 9 queens already with the 10th one on the way. Reynor had a roach horn but didn't build a single roach. He had a good read on what was happening this game. I don't know how he had that read, because you'd expect this could have been a charge all in, it could have been adept glaives. These would have been the common things. But Reynor basically just said, I'm just going to build 1 billion queens and a lot of drones and have a lot of supply free. So if I see army come out, I can quickly build reactively. That's very dangerous on Oceanborn. But dangerous and Reynor, name a more iconic duo. That's how he plays StarCraft. He's happy to take calculated gambles like this. Because the thing is, if he runs into something like a Stargate Phoenix play, it is fantastically good. Oh, focusing down that very high energy queen. One of the Phoenix has fallen. 1 queen does go down. It's just, I think he needs to keep fighting. I think the Phoenix need to keep ambushing these queens like that. +1 air weapons is on the way, as well as a few more Phoenix. Those Phoenix are running home, though, surprisingly. It's weird. Double Robos on the way, as well as a Forge and a Twilight. So it's just Phoenix off 3 Stargates into ground. It's going to be an interesting play. MAXPAX on 73 workers, Reynor only on 68. 12 Phoenix against 12 Queens. It's not enough of an advantage. Gonna go Void Rays now as well. This is bizarre. Nice Worm coming up on the other side. This isn't actually committed, is it? Is he actually going? Wow! Oh, Reynor going for a crazy person move. Oh, this might be a huge mistake. He's losing a lot of these queens as they pop out, but now he's got a lot on the ground. Transfuses. Oh, the transfuses are pretty good. Man, can he actually not beat that? Surely MAXPAX could have just beat that. He's got 2 Void Rays and 11 Phoenix versus like 10 queens that were there. 8 queens only. Why is he running away? I actually think he could have killed that. I might be wrong, but I think if you just disable like 6 out of 8 of the queens, you've still got 5 Phoenix and 2 Void Rays shooting what's left, and no transfuses landing. Maybe the Ravagers were scaring him there, because he thought he might get biled if he commits to that fight. The Immortals are there with the Void Rays trying to defend here. Lots of cannon battery being built in a big old spready. Phoenix trying to pick off Ravagers. He grabs one, dodges the biles, gets in, gets out. Smooth, slick play for MAXPAX, who's basically just stuck building Immortal Void Ray right now. What a bizarre unit set. Oh man, the micro for Reynor is very good so far. He needs his creep up here though. Reynor's creep has not really been spreading. He's got to wait for that next spread on the tumors to get it just a little bit further. He's trying to do that in and out micro with the Ravager Queen. Only 66 drones. Reynor is pretty all in right now. His main oversaturated now as the half of the base runs out. Runs out just that moment. Immortal Stalker trying to hang on. He needs these ranged units to skirmish with the Ravagers, but the Bile being very frustrating to deal with. Battery overcharge needs to be used soon. He's got to use it on the back one, though, not the front one. Oh, he goes for the Ravager pickups. The Bile spread across the front line, trying to heal the cannons, the Immortals, the Stalkers. Reynor with a massive Ravager Queen going ham. An insane army. 16 Queens, 14 Ravagers, 14 Roaches. The Immortals are not really attacking for most of this. They're mostly stuck behind each other. They are starting to clear the army out, though. The Ravagers going down. The Phoenix Lifts are pretty good at disabling these units. The Immortals are taking damage, though. An Immortal falls. The Immortal's taking so much damage. Battery overcharge is still 30 seconds away from being back. Another Immortal falls. Another one goes down. And another. And another one bites the dust. Oh, those Immortal snipes turn this from what was an amazing hold to a... if he just pulled those Immortals to the right and kept them alive, I think MAXPAX is fine. Because then he gets barriers. He's got overcharge back up in 7 seconds. He's got more energy regenerating on the batteries. You know, I think that would have been perfect. But losing those Immortals loses the main anchor to his army, the main high-quality army unit. Now it's just Stalkers and a few random Zealots in the mix. The Zealots are useless against such a big baller Queen Roach Ravager. 8 Phoenix in the skies, not really able to do much other than a bit of a disable. Losing those Immortals pretty much ends the staying power of MAXPAX. The units that would be able to really put a big account of themselves. His battery overcharge, of course, has been used again. His army is getting overwhelmed. And that is very rough. Nice play by Reynor. Really well done. Just 66 drones, Mass Queen, 100% commitment. He knew he had a good start because he took so little damage from the Phoenix that he was like, oh, yeah, if I don't take damage, I think I can just basically Mass Queen and catch you in the middle of a transition, whether that be to carriers, to Immortals, to charge, a massive Roach Ravager Queen. It's a simple way to finish off a Protoss player who's trying to make a rather complicated transition and just doesn't quite have the time to get there. Oh, sorry guys, apologies for the camera movement there. The Immortals still raining down death, but there's just too many of them. Reynor looking great. They're winning a late game in game 1 and then just somehow having a next level read. I don't know. I still feel like the main thing when you see a single Void Ray like that, in the early game, most Zergs are very worried about Mass Adept coming out at 5 minutes. Surprising charge all in. But if we look at it from Reynor's vision, I guess he saw this gas. Maybe this gas going down convinced him of something. I think this gas scout might be the biggest thing that Reynor saw that kind of put him at ease here. Because he's building a pretty early Roach Warren, realizing, hey, I've seen a Void Ray, I haven't seen an Oracle. What's he up to? He's doing something sneaky. And then he comes in here and he sees that gas. Now, that gas to me looks almost like a fake. Oh, look, he's chrono boosting his third and building a gas to pretend it's a macro game. That's the thing is, that's if you're going 300 IQ and you think he's mind gaming. But if you just take it at face value, why is Protoss taking a gas this early? It's because, well, guess he's got no units here at 5 minutes as well. That's probably a tell in. Why doesn't he have any Stalkers or other Adepts warped in? What's going on? You know what is he doing here? And then he just lets these two Adepts start. It felt like, yeah, MAXPAX was just a little bit sloppy in this opening. And he kind of just had the read that it was going to be some sort of Stargate opening, where the Carriers or Tempest were probably higher in his mind than 3 Stargate Phoenix. But having the confidence here for Reynor of just 12 Zerglings to basically say, you know what, if a massive Adepts come, at least I'm going to have 10 Queens to defend, or 9 Queens, and I'm going to have an excellent work account, which allows him to kind of stay on par with MAXPAX in this game. Really awesome start, and it makes you feel pretty bad as MAXPAX when you fly in and the first thing you see is 9 Queens waiting for you, 5 Phoenix. Just you can't get anything done. Because you're meant to be able to pick up Queens and start killing them and really spiral things out of control and snowball it, but that just wasn't the case. GG, well played by Reynor. Fantastic read. He had MAXPAX's number today. GG.